up at Dieu Priory. I think that's how you pronounce it. It might be Dieu or something like that. It's in Coalville and it looks absolutely fantastic. Not only have we got the Priory building, which was an old monastery built, I believe, in the 1500s, we've also got a bit of woodland and a little river running by as well. So this should be a really interesting little shoot today. Well, the car park is at the back of a pub, which is a bit weird, but we've got a few paths out of here, so I'm going to go and have a look around now. Now, as you drive past the Priory, it looks absolutely amazing. However, I think I may have chosen a bad time because there are families starting to arrive now, so I think people are starting to go for their walks. However, it is a really overcast day, so there's not going to be a huge amount I can shoot other than actual subjects, but let's see how this goes. This is a really interesting walk. One thing I did notice on the way here though was not only have we got overcast skies, but we're also at that weird time of year where all the colour's gone from the trees. What that does mean, of course, is that if I find something with some colour in it, it will stand out and be a lot more interesting. So here's hoping. I feel like this place can't quite make its mind up whether it wants people here or not, because I keep seeing signs like this that say no right of way though visitors are welcome. Make your mind up. My priority is to get to the Priory itself, but already I've seen lots of shots I'm going to go for on the way back. There's lots of exposed roots which I really like in trees, so I'm going to try and take some of those shots. There's also, as I mentioned, a bit of a river passing through and an interesting looking bridge over here as well. So yeah, they should be able to get a decent amount of photos today. They'll be very detail oriented, I think. As I filmed the establishing shot as I reached the Priory, I saw it in my camera and thought, well, that looks like a good starting place. So I've just taken that shot with my stills camera. I've had a little walk around the Priory and it's really nice. It's a really lovely experience. I've taken quite a few wide shots from various different places. I didn't bring my wide angle lens with me today. I only brought my kit lens, my zoom lens and my fisheye because I wasn't sure what I was going to find, and I'll be honest, I'm not too keen on the wide angle lens. That's another story for another day. I could go round the Priory and take lots of close-up shots, but I don't think they'd be that interesting. I'm going to have a quick wander around, see what I can find, but I do recommend, if you like the look of the shots that I've taken, that you come and visit this place for yourself, because it really is fascinating. It's the sort of place that I get really inspired by. I find it really historically interesting to be here. So do come and check it out, but I'm going to have a bit more of a walk around, then I'm going to start heading back towards the woods that I had to come through to get here and see what I can find in there. I got my numbers wrong earlier. This place was built in the 13th century and it was dissolved in the 15th century, but I've had a wonderful time here. I've taken some lovely photos. I've taken a few photos of some of the detail, but I don't think they're that interesting, so I'm going to start heading back now towards the woods and take it from there. Right, now I know I said I was going to move on from here, but I decided to take one shot that I really wanted, which was a picture of this doorway over here, which is really small, so I put myself up against it for scale. And as I was packing away from doing that, I started to notice a lot of really nice detail. And I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but there is a brick in this wall here that kind of looks a bit like a brain, which I thought, there it is, I thought was quite nice. Hopefully I'll be able to bring that out in the edit. There's some really interesting coloured bricks on the wall down here. There's a whole range of different blues and almost greens in there, which I thought were fascinating, so I've tried to capture them. And then I was looking up here above the doorway that I was shooting, over there. There you are, up there. and realised there were lots of really nice colours. So I thought I'd try and capture those, and I'll probably have to enhance them a little bit to bring them out in the edit, but I really like that. And then just as I was about to go, I started snooping around another doorway around here, and there's a chimney as well, so I've taken a shot up there. I'm not sure that one's going to come out great, but yeah, the more I started looking at the detail, the more fascinated I was. So I might be here for a little bit longer, but in the next cut you might also find me in the woods. Let's find out. I'm leaving the Priory now. It would have been very easy to get really into that actually. It's quite a good exercise that in composition, because there were a lot of compositions I suddenly started finding that were less obvious than the obvious wide shots. I would probably like to come back to that place at another point, but I actually think the conditions here today are really good because there's no significant light, there's no significant shadow, there's nothing blowing out. Yeah, there are a few blowouts on the sky occasionally, but I'm not too worried about that because the focus is on the actual subject. Also, I bracketed a few shots where that was an issue as well, so I'll HDR those up in Lightroom. Now, to try and find some cool stuff in the woods. Hey look, it's been a long time since we had one of these. It's a felled tree. This is definitely the best woodland I've been to in the Midlands. I've just taken a picture of some detail of a tree. I'm a bit gutted though because I've left my wellies in the car, and I've just realised that there's some shots down here that I'd really like to get to. I might, if I have time, put my wellies back on and come back out, because I can see at least one shot that I need to get into the stream for, and it's not that deep, so it's perfectly doable. I'm going to keep walking for now and see what else I can find. These trees are lovely though. Quick stop back at the car then to change into my wellies and also have a quick refuel, and then I'm going to get back out again. It's been really fascinating so far, and I think when I get into the river there's going to be even more opportunities there. This woodland is undoubtedly the best woodland I've come across since I've been back in the Midlands. There are lots of actually really nice colours in there, despite what I said earlier, and there's lots of character in the trees and in the, well, in nature really. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to the next part of this. I'm on the way back to the woods now. I might have sat down a little bit too long, but I'm looking forward to this. Annoyingly though, my selfie stick appears to have broken. It won't retract, which is a bit annoying when you're carrying loads of stuff around. So I'll have to get a new one when I get back. But yeah, see you in the river. So here we are in the stream. I mean, it's called a river, but it's got more stream-like qualities. There's one shot that I wanted, and actually, as I look at it now, it's even better than I thought it was, because before I was looking at it from up there. It's a really simple shot, but you may or may not be able to see on this camera that there is a man-made swing, just a bit of rope with a twig attached to it. And this kind of takes us full circle back to the first episode of Landscape Adventures, because one of the first things I shot, if not the first thing that I shot, was one of these in a similar location in Sussex. But we've also got this tunnel behind it, which I think is going to make a really interesting photo. So I'm going to play around here for a bit. It is getting quite late, it is getting quite dark. I'm definitely not been scared by the fact that the stories I was reading before I got here all suggested this place is haunted. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here, but let's get this shot and then I'll probably start walking back and see what else I can find on the way back. So in a true homage to that first episode, I still can't get a photo of it that I'm happy with. There's just too much other stuff going on and it's difficult to separate it from the background. Hey ho, it is what it is. I've been doing some long exposures here of this tunnel and the water. Again, I've taken quite a lot of them, varying the length of time that I'm doing the long exposures for. I can't quite get a flow that I'm quite happy with, but we'll have a look again when I get them into Photoshop later, into Lightroom later I should say. Kind of running out of ideas now. so I think it might be time to start heading back. But I think there will be some shots in the woods that I want on the way. I'm sure the inspiration hit me a few more times on the way back. Also, for some reason, I really want to get a long exposure of this log in the river. This camcorder doesn't do it justice, but there's quite a nice colour on it, and I quite like how it's positioned in the water, so I'm going to do that before we leave as well. I think I'm done. I've walked through the woodlands. There's been a couple of shots that I've tried to get, some trees and what have you, surprisingly in woodlands, but there's been nothing really that's captured my imagination. It's starting to get a little bit dark now, and it's meaning I'm having to use higher ISOs or the tripod, which is always annoying. So I think I'm going to knock it on the head. I've only got a short walk back now to the car. I'm only around the corner. I might get one or two on the way if anything appeals to me, but I doubt it at this point. So yeah, see you back at the car, I guess. I'm back at the car. That's been a really lovely afternoon, and I'm about to start driving back. I don't think I've got any groundbreaking photos there, but I think I've got quite a few that I may well print off, because there's at least one or two in there that I really like the detail and the textures and what have you. So obviously I'll put all of those at the end of the video as usual. But thank you for coming with me today. It's been a lovely afternoon. As always, like, comment and subscribe and do all that stuff if you've enjoyed it. And I do now have prints available, I should have mentioned that, on my new Monday store, which is available via the link in the description of this video. They're very reasonably priced. They're mainly Leicester and Sussex based, as you'd imagine. So yeah, do check that out, and I'll see you again next week.